Welcome to Truths, Proofs, and Firewater Reviews. I'm your host, Lindsay, and this is John, risking his liver to discover new whiskeys.
You know what pisses me off?
What pisses you off?
When people put ketchup on their breakfast.
Shut up. For one, specify. For two, do you like ketchup on your hash
Specify,
browns?
it pissed me off when you put ketchup on it.
I don't care.
Eggs, hash browns, whatever else. You probably put ketchup on toast.
No, that's weird. I mean, unless you're like making a sandwich or something, but you know, whatever, John. You put hot sauce and everything, so cool.
Yeah, well, it's not ketchup.
Well, you know, get over it. Anyway, we're doing a ocean mashup today.
Mashup?
I don't know. They're different mashes.
Voyages? Oh, yeah, they are different mashes. Mash bills. So we have Jefferson Ocean Weeded versus Jefferson's Ocean Ryed Bourbon. So the Weeded is going to be Voyage 25. The Ryed Bourbon is Voyage 23. For some reason, we didn't get 24 before 25. I don't know if that's true everywhere, but
yeah, but we
weird.
saw 25 and now I don't see 25 at all.
Well, we got 25, what?
I feel like
a couple months ago?
Yeah, I feel like maybe somebody got a rogue case, but
24, no. I've seen it everywhere. Now 24 is starting to pop up a couple months later.
But now we haven't seen the new one, so
maybe the Weeded was ready before the 24.
Maybe.
So they usually release a cask strength about what, every few batches? How many cask strengths have they had?
So they are working on, they're releasing batch 26.
That's going to be cask strength?
And that's going to be the rye one.
Oh, I asked.
The cask strength, they've done 5.
5. So out of 26 upcoming, only 5 of them were cask strength?
Yeah.
How many were weeded?
4.
4. I enjoyed the weeded. I got some special thoughts on this one.
Yeah.
And then, as you said, 26 is going to be their first rye ocean.
Right, and then the rest of them, so there's...
We hunted around
16.
for 2 weeks on, can't find that yet.
Yeah, there's 16 of them that are just the normal Jefferson mash bill. So it is a heavier rye mash bill, but their Voyage 26 that just came out is a very heavy rye mash bill.
Because it is a rye whiskey.
It's a rye whiskey.
And it actually says double barreled on it too, so not sure what they mean about that, but do you know the mash bill for Ocean whatsoever?
So Ocean is kind of hard. I love researching it because it's got a nice little place in my heart, but it is undisclosed age statement and mash bill. So this is speculation, but any of their weeded mash bills are ranging from 23 to 30, or I'm sorry. So they have their weeded, their rye, and their cask strengths. And then now they have the rye whiskey one. But they're ranging from anywhere from 23 to 30% rye currently. And that's about all you can find. And then it's between 6 and 8 years roughly. When they first started releasing them, like the first couple batches that they did give out a specific age statement. But now it's not age stated. Which, I mean, I get, but I don't know, I guess, because it kind of depends. Some of them are out at sea for 5 months and some of them are out for 10. So, I mean, that kind of goes by what OSearch is doing and how long they're out there, too. So,
do you know what wheat mash bill would be?
No. They don't. And I think that's true to pretty much everything Jefferson is. It's speculation. It's never...
They do source... they acquired Kentucky Artisan, so they might be putting some of that juice in there eventually. Maybe now, who knows? It does say straight bourbon whiskey on it, so it doesn't have to be from Kentucky or Indiana. It can be blended from many different spots. I believe that's what straight means.
So Jefferson's brand started in 1997. The first release was batch 1. And that was in March of 2014. And then batch 2 was the first release that was, the first release was in August of 2012. Batch 2 was the first, like, nationwide release. Yeah. So that one was in 2014, and they realized after they released that first voyage, and John found things that were different than what I said. Like, I saw that it was only 200 bottles. John saw it was like 325.
I always go off Breaking Bourbon. That's where most of this information is from.
So Breaking Bourbon has usually got pretty true to form information, and they said 250 bottles. So we're going to run with that. Somewhere
now
around there.
I bet you they're giving 10, 20, probably plus 1,000 bottles. We got a Voyage 5 that I kind of want to open up to, because that's one of the earlier ones. I want to see if it's saltier back then, brinier.
And I think they've changed a lot. So the whole thing was the concept that Trey Zoller came up with, and we've gone in depth with this before, but Ocean was created with Trey Zoller and Chris Fisher, and Chris Fisher runs the O-Search vessel that Ocean is put on. So it states on the website all of the different voyages and all of the different ports that they go to, and it also has it on the cute little tag on there. But there's over 25 ports, 5 countries, and 2 equator crossings per every batch, always, and then sometimes a few more port stops, just depending on where O-Search stops at. So O-Search started with Jefferson's in 2012, which was consequently the same year that they released their first batch. So the ship's 123 feet, and it researches large marine predators, mainly great whites, like with their travel paths and breeding grounds and such. So there's a lot of different vessels out there that do that, but Trey became friends with him and created this market. So
my favorite thing is every time he tells a story, he says they were drinking on a boat and saw it waving in the glass and in the bottle, and thought, hey, that's going to be a lot of wood contact in that barrel.
Yeah.
And then they had the barrels tested, and the sugars are caramelized beyond what they've ever seen. And
it was kind of a trial and error for a while there. If you ever see some of the interviews that Trey does, Trey and Chris both talk about how it was like so rough trying to get like a good science down to it, just because the barrels break or they're where to keep them. So now they keep them on the front of the boat where they get the most sunlight in the weather.
Probably getting some ocean spray on there.
Yeah. And they do, I think it said something, I read something that they are in a little bit of a protected area now. It's not going to keep them from the sun and everything else, but they're a little bit more confined so that
weather,
they don't
heat,
go anywhere.
It's very unique aging. I do think it makes a difference. And someone commented on one of our older Ocean videos and say that's not really like a saltiness, it's like a unsalted butter versus salted butter.
Yeah,
I agree. To me, it's got that like brininess, and I'm gonna go in on the taste. What do you think about either of these? Do you think the wheated's better or the Ryed bourbon?
I think the wheated's better. I prefer wheated whiskey to begin with, so I'm a little partial, but I'm coming into my own with rye.
See, I prefer Ryed bourbon better, but with the wheated one, it really brings out some more unique characters.
I feel like it pulls more. The wheated pulls for me. Like the rye ones, there's so many of the voyages are the rye that I feel like it's kind of like just a different variance, kind of like a barrel proof Elijah or something like that, where you just get a same flavor profile and notes, but something's a little stronger or a little mellower. Whereas with the wheated, I feel like every time we tried the wheated ones, it's something like a different pop. Something really explodes or something new is introduced to me. So
they both have the typical caramels. Caramel popcorn is something associated with this one a lot. The Ryed bourbon has more of a bitter, I wouldn't want to say rye spice, but I don't get the rye taste on there. But it's got more bitterness that kind of melds with that brininess, slight saltiness.
Yeah.
And it's not strong. With the wheated one, this one really surprised me. I wanted to see what I did on it blind, but we haven't gotten to that yet.
It's in your box.
The absence of rye ramps up the sweetness. The wood just kind of blends in better. And the saltiness for me is ramped up. Instead of like a little rye spice I get in the back, I get like that brininess, that that salty.
It replaces it.
The sea salt has its own flavor. It's not like table salt, but
No.
I can taste it in the back way more. It's got to be the absence of rye that does it, and the caramel I think is smoother, sweeter on this one.
I just feel like the flavors in that are so much more pronounced and so much more in depth that it's something you're not going to get.
The saltiness really replaces that rye bite, and I think it's super pleasant. I will look forward to the wheated more than the Ryed nose.
Yeah.
The rye whiskey, on the other hand, that one intrigues me.
I'm excited to see what that one holds. I hope we find that soon.
Any other thoughts?
This one's always, I mean, the bottle, like I didn't realize that they had changed the bottle so much from the start to finish. And then I looked at our 5 and this one, and they have changed it a lot and made it a lot different. But I wasn't like a huge fan of Jefferson's, but over the last few years and stuff, we've been trying a lot more. And Ocean has always been great, but we've been trying a lot more of their normal offerings. And
as I've said before, it is an $80 price tag. That is a premium price for an average aged bourbon.
yeah,
But the story, what the barrels went through, it makes it worth it for me, because it's not a gimmick.
yeah, and that's the thing is I think that there is no gray area with Ocean. You're either a fan or you're not. And it's got its own little thing, and a lot of people there's a lot of hate sometimes too.
Yeah.
Like I've been reading through comments and doing
There's
research.
a lot of purists that want
I
bourbon,
get
their bourbon.
everybody has their own thing, and I understand that, but it's just like this is one of those things, guys. It's not, oh, they put salt in it or they did this to the bourbon. Like this is actually aged at sea.
A lot of people blinded don't even get the saltiness, but I think with the wheated one they would.
I think so too. I think
or
the
mistaken it for a rye bite.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Maybe. I don't know. But this one, it doesn't matter how many voyages I try. Even if I try them all, I never will, because Lord knows there's probably not any.
Well, you're never going to get one anywhere for sure.
But I never am disappointed with Ocean ever. It's so unique and so
25
intriguing.
Has been my favorite so far. I would like to see a cast strength wheated. I think that'd be phenomenal.
I mean, they've got a couple of the cast strengths and stuff out. And
they do store picks too.
Yeah. We saw a couple of them this past year.
It's been a while, but.
So, I mean, they're getting into the game, but there she be. That's Ocean. What one's your guys' favorite? What's your oldest one that you have? What got you into it or have had or tried? Were you one of the lucky people that got one of those 250 bottles of one? Maybe. I don't know. But there you have it, guys. Ocean.
So that wraps up this review. Leave a comment if you have tried this whiskey and let us know what you thought. Please like and share to social media, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to leave a suggestion for our next review. Thanks for watching.